Hey, hockey fans, and welcome back to another edition of Puck My Life. Tonight, I am joined with Jose. How we
What's
doing
up?
there, buddy?
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah, you ready to talk some hockey or what, man?
Yeah, man.
All right, well, tonight we're going to go over the Iowa Hartlanders game experience that we had. This would have been back in March, like the end of March. We went out there and checked these guys out. So they're located at Extreme Arena, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correct, Coralville, Iowa. So as you can see there, the drive for us, 8 hours, 20 minutes, 543 miles. And you're probably asking, what were you guys doing way out there? You know, it's kind of random for us in a way. I mean, it's not too terribly far away, but it is still kind of random. So my wife has a friend who just moved out to the Aurora area, which is just outside of Chicago, and she moved there for work. So she wanted to go and see her for the weekend. So I asked Jose if he had anything going on. He said no. I'm like, all right. So we started to plan a hockey trip out there because we were going to drop her off on Thursday night, and then we were going to go and go hit up some games. Well, our initial trip, what we wanted to do was we wanted to go up to Chippewa Falls and check out the Steel. Then we were going to go up by Duluth and watch the Minnesota Wilderness, and then come back down to the Minnesota St. Paul area and watch the Minneapolis area and watch the Minnesota Wild, and then go back and pick her up. Well, we found out that the Chippewa Steel did not have any pucks that they had for the season. Apparently, they weren't even selling them. And when I asked the guy that we had talked to if we could even get one of the game used pucks, he's like, I'm not even sure if we have enough pucks to get through the rest of the season. So we're like, okay, so we had to call an audible and figure out something else. And this was another part of a trip that we wanted to do. We were initially wanting to go to Davenport and watch the Quad City Storm. They're supposed to have a game, but it got canceled because Vermilion County Bobcats folded. And so that Thursday night was done. So that's why we had to look into the Minnesota trip. And so then we went back to the Iowa trip. And this was game one of a 2-game road trip where we saw the Iowa Hartlanders. And then we also saw the following night, we saw the Dubuque Fighting Saints. So yeah, quite the planning. A lot of stuff went on, and it took us a little while, but we got it figured out. I think you were even talking to your mom about it, Jose, before we left, and where you're like, she wasn't even sure we were going because it kept changing all the time, because we would like plan this and
Yep.
then something would happen. Then we planned this and then something happened. Then all at that point, all she needed to know was just where we were going and when we were coming back.
Because I was explaining to her, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be leaving out of town for a few days. And then I didn't even know where we were going because you and I were going back and forth. Are we going to Quad City? Or are we going to Davenport? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to leave it up to you. And then I get a text saying we're going to Iowa. And I'm like, okay, cool. Packed a bag and we're just out.
Yep. So we actually drove out there on a Thursday night, stayed over, and then the next day we went and checked out the Iowa Hartlanders. And the Iowa Hartlanders play at Extreme Arena, which is located in Coralville. And it's a really nice newer arena. This whole kind of mini downtown area was kind of nice with some restaurants, bars. I mean, I really liked all the brick buildings. I'm a sucker for brick buildings, but it was just a nice, really cool, clean area. It was just really nice. Then once you got into the arena, this is a little bit of the concourse, kind of opened up just after we got the tickets. And then it did kind of narrow as it went around, and there was a few little bit of pockets with some concession stands and stuff like that throughout. But yeah, this last part here, this was kind of like the big open area. The other spots weren't kind of open. They're just kind of a little tighter than this, but it wasn't too bad. And then the ice shot, I thought this was really cool. I want to know, like, when they're designing something like this, how they figure out what they're doing with these random seats or why they do that. But what was your thoughts, Jose, when we got into the arena and walked up and saw the ice for the first time?
It looked newer. Like, it couldn't have been more than like maybe 5, maybe 6, 7 years old. I mean, I've seen a lot of arenas that, look newer. Like, their speaker system is new, the seats are new, but the whole building itself is like 20, 30 years old. This building alone must at least be 10. at least 10,
I
15?
believe it's actually under 5 years old.
Really? Okay.
They haven't really you correct me if I'm wrong, guys, down in the comments, but the Heartlanders actually haven't been part of the ECHL that long. So I'm pretty sure that this arena is like under 5 or 6 years old. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, it is a newer building, and you can definitely tell when you walk up and check it out. All right. So the first thing that we like to discuss when we have these game experience videos is the parking. So the Extreme Arena is part of this Iowa River Landing area. And we actually stayed, if you look at the bottom part of the screen, there's the south parking lot off of, I believe that is Query Road. And so this is what the lot looks like. And we actually pulled up to the gate there. And the lady said that for tonight's game, it was actually free parking. So it was really cool. It wasn't very far, maybe like a 4-block walk, if that, to go up around and get to the arena. Not bad at all, and it was a nice big parking lot. They don't have like a huge presence in the Coralville area. I mean, they've only been there a few years, and they're still trying to build their footprint in that area. But still, like there was a decent amount of fans there. There wasn't too many people that parked over here. We noticed a lot of other people parked closer to the arena, but this parking that we saw was free, and it's just a couple bucks away. All right, next up is the tickets. So one thing for Jose and I, we didn't actually go on and buy tickets ahead of time. We had seen and heard from some people that had been there before that, like I said, they don't really have a big presence in the area yet. They're still trying to build the fan base. So we just decided, hey, we're just going to wait till we get to the arena, and we're going to go buy tickets when we get there. So this is just a little poster that they had hanging up once we got in there to kind of just show you guys a little bit of the breakdown. So the economy seat, $16. That's what we got. We just sat in the corner for the first little part of the game, and then we were seat jumping around just to check out a few things, and you'll notice that a little bit later throughout the video. But yeah, it was $16 for just our tickets, and then you can see the $12 that's for students with ID. But yeah, $16. And we didn't have to pay much of a processing fee. It was like maybe like $2.50 for the processing fee for our ticket. And they did give us the ticket stubs. Unfortunately, it did not have, I was hoping to get one with the Heartlander logo on it, but it was just one for the arena. And as you can see there, they were taking on the Wichita Thunder that night. All right, next up is the merch. And so I know Jose's already, he was talking to me about this before we got on. He is just ready to talk about the merch. You can also tell he was getting ready to just latch into this. So hold on, Jose. Your time is coming here in a second. But when you just enter into the concourse, so it was kind of interesting at first. Like we walked up and we saw what we looked like was like the actual main part of the team shop. And like there's no like where you're to cash out. There was like a security guard standing out there in the big opening, and we were looking around, checking out the jerseys. They have the alternate jerseys there with their state flower, and then these really cool jerseys along the wall. It was really cool to see like the main like stag/deer logo, and then having the shoulder patch as the state flower, and then it was cool to see the ones on the right where they just basically did the reverse. Really cool jerseys, really priced well, I thought, for the quality of the jerseys that they had. And then we saw like this set of stairs over by where it says Go Heartlanders Go. And then this is where the checkout, you can see the checkout counter is. So we thought when we first walked up, like, okay, we saw all this merch, like all these t-shirts and jerseys, like, where are the pucks? Like you saw in the pictures, there was like no accessories. So we come around the corner, go down these stairs, and then we see that kiosk that has like the lanyards and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like on the backside, there's going to be like a little shelf, and there's going to be a bunch of pucks. They're just sitting there waiting for us. And there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then, so we went up to the little checkout counter there. Guy was sitting there chilling. He was just chilling on his phone, scrolling through whatever. And we asked him, like, are the pucks in like a different spot? Like, where are the pucks at? He's like, well, actually, management hasn't had pucks like all season. We haven't got any pucks on here. We're like, really? Like, we actually, like, I've learned my lesson a few times before this. I messaged the team earlier in the week and asked them specifically if they had pucks. And the lady's like, yes, we have pucks for the Saturday night games or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I'm hoping they have it for every game. But anyway, so the guy at this this checkout counter. He's like, well, go back upstairs, go around the corner from where you came in, and then you go down. So where it's got the little PNG, 2 little blue PNG banners in there. He said, go. That's like the customer service counter. Go talk to those guys. So we went and talked to those guys, and we were there for maybe like a minute or two, waiting in line. Then we get up there, talk to the guys, and like, oh yeah, like we don't have any pucks here. He's like, go and talk to those other guys. So now we're being sent to the third table where it says the Hartlanders Rose Club. And so we talked to the guy there in the white shirt. I believe his name was Colin. I can't remember specifically, but I believe his name was Colin. And I pulled him aside. I said, hey, man, I said, we just went down into the team shop. We just went over to this counter. And they said, you're the guy to talk to get some hockey pucks. I said, me and my friend Jose, I said, we go travel around. We go to all the different arenas. We do these shows on them and everything. I gave him the whole spiel. And after talking to him, he's like, and showing him the comment that I got back from the people who run the Instagram in my DMs, he's like, give me a second. And so he talked to the guy that's sitting there in the gray polo. He's like, hey, we still got some of those signed pucks left? And he's like, yeah. So he reaches underneath that table, and sure enough, we got some pucks. This is probably the hardest puck that I've got as we've been doing this whole thing. We'll show you some close-ups of them. And yeah, mine's kind of cool. It's the official warm-up puck for the Hartlanders, and then it has the flower on the back with some guy's signature. I wasn't exactly able to figure out what number that was, if that's a 13 or what. I don't know. I mean, what number do you think that is, Jose? I think it's a 13.
I'm leaning towards a 13. 13? Maybe just a 3. They just kind of scribbled, but I'm gonna very much lean it's a 13.
Yeah, if anybody watching has an idea of what player that is, hit us up in the comments or shoot us a DM over on Instagram, and then we'll take a look at Jose's puck. Jose, you actually got a game used or official game puck. We don't know if 100% if it was game used. Mine has a few marks on it, but I don't think it was actually used in practice. Jose's had a few little scuff marks too, so I'm not sure. And then that's actually not like a painted logo on the back. They just slapped the Havy, I think that's how you pronounce it, or something.
Yeah,
it's a grocery store, I believe, in the Iowa area. And so it looks like yours says either 14 or 19.
I think mine is 19.
Yeah, I think yours. I'm guessing it's 19. Drop it in the comments what you guys think below. And yeah, then they just slapped that sticker. Mine actually had that that Havy thing was actually like printed on the back of mine. Kind of interesting. But yeah, it was really cool. Shout out to the Iowa Hartlanders marketing team for hooking us up. I mean, you saw earlier, we drove like over 500 miles to go to this game. Then they told us they had pucks, and then they didn't know. So yeah, hopefully for you guys coming up in the next season, hopefully we'll have pucks for you guys if you guys are going out there. But I would strongly suggest messaging them, and better yet, call them and talk to somebody that actually works in the team shop and try to see about pucks. But what was your initial thoughts, Jose? Like, I know a lot of crap was running through my head. You know, I was fuming, but like, what were your thoughts? Like, we get down there, you're watching me talk to all these people, trying to track us down some pucks. I mean, what were you thinking?
I was pissed. Like, I mean, we drove like hours upon hours, and the weather was nice. It wasn't anything bad, but we drove so many hours, and just throughout the night, day, whatever, and we get to the game, we're all ready, amped to go, and then we get to the team shop, and I'm like, what? Like, there's no pucks. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, okay, Tyler's either gonna lose his mind or he's gonna just absolutely just flip. He's just gonna flip on someone. And then we get to like 2 other people, and then the last team, the marketing team, dude, they hooked us up so well. Shout out to the marketing team, because they are the OGs of OGs in that whole entire building. Because I mean, that's like the last like group of people I expected to give us pucks. And especially signed ones too. So I mean, I'll take it. But yeah, definitely shout out to the marketing team on that one.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for that. We really appreciate it. It definitely made our night. That's the first time we've been given signed pucks, and it was really cool that they gave us a official game puck, and then they also gave us an official practice puck. So again, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for doing that for us. All right, let's continue on after all that. let's look into the concessions. So the concessions, they had like your typical stuff. There wasn't really anything too out of the ordinary. I mean, what do you think of these prices, Jose? I mean, we're looking at $5 for a hot dog, $6 for a brat. Then you have the hamburger / cheeseburger, $8. You know, souvenir soda. I'm guessing that came in like, I didn't see any special cups, but I'm guessing it did. You know, for $7, because then you got the regular soda there for $5. So, but $5 for a water. I don't think that arenas should be able to charge $5 for a bottle of water. I think if I was to run a hockey team or run an arena, I would want waters to be cheap for people. Like, I think that that's not right to be charging $5 for a water. But I mean, what are your initial thoughts when we rolled up and was like checking out the concession prices?
It didn't really look any different than any other like concessions and and other games we've been to. Obviously, $8 for a hamburger. I just think that's just crazy. I think that's backwards.
With nothing else. Like,
yeah, nothing else. Like no fries, no wings, nothing. Just a cheeseburger. Like alone, that just sucks. I'm sorry. And if it's like soggy, like the bread, the buns is soggy and the meat is just grease. Like I feel like you would just feel betrayed. Just pure betrayal. But overall, concessions were, pretty average. Nothing special, nothing, insane. But, it's all right.
I mean, you will see there the saving grace is it does come with the pickles. So, serve with American cheese and pickles. But that's only if you get the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So, and then they had this other one. It was this pizza stand, which smelled really good. This was the most popular one. Now, this is early on when we first got there, so there wasn't as many people there because we got there as soon as the doors opened. And, yeah, this was the most popular one. $9 for a personal pizza. I didn't think that was too bad for what it was. I thought it smelled really good. It looked good. I mean, beer was kind of expensive. It says premium beer right there, $11. And, the cheaper one, $9. So, I mean, it wasn't like... We went to 25 different arenas this season, guys. This wasn't the highest prices we've seen, but it's definitely not the lowest prices. And you'll see some of the extremely low price places coming up soon in some of the college towns that we've been to. But yeah, so I mean, if you're going to a game like this, I would say that this is kind of about average for concession prices. Now, if you go to NHL, you can add $1 or $2 to pretty much any one of these totals, maybe some of them even a couple dollars. But yeah, this is about what you're going to expect for anything lower than the NHL. All right, next up is atmosphere. So we are going to play a clip for you guys. This is a really good game. It did go into overtime. I will give you that. There wasn't a whole lot of fans there. You can see that here in the background of the video, but this is what me and Jose witnessed in overtime, and we're just going to show you. So let's roll the clip. What a play. Dude gets tripped, completes the pass. Guy goes, and it felt like it was almost like watching that clip back. It was like almost like it was like slow motion as the guy was going up to like make the final shot. But yeah, that was the overtime game winner that the Iowa Hartlanders had against the Wichita Thunder. Yeah, really, I don't know. It was a really cool start to the trip, I must say. And then we had Dubuque the next night. But I mean, you can see Jose's reaction there. I mean, he was going nuts. I was going nuts. The kids, it was really sweet. Like Jose was saying before the show, before we got on, like you were like we were in the perfect spot
We
to
were.
watch it. We had, I mean, we were like just about halfway down on the lower level. I mean, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Obviously nobody was, but I thought it was really cool at the end there as the team just like piled up there among the glass, like the kids just ran up and then they're all like, it's just a big huddle. Like I just thought it was cool. I mean, what do you think, Jose? Like we go to Iowa and then that's the way game 1 of the road trip ends.
Yeah, no, that was fun. And especially too, because I know we were moving around that night a little bit, just because, our seats were pretty decent, for what we paid. But obviously the fan turnout wasn't, big. So I guess more seats, more opportunity. But by the time we got to where we were sitting when overtime was happening, I mean, we honestly picked such a good spot because, like you said, we got the perfect angle of the guy tripping, completing the pass, and then making the shot and winning the game completely. And then they're just crowding by the glass there. I mean, how I don't get how much better it gets from there. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if we were next to the glass, I mean, it'd be different. But I mean, for overall, what we did there, I feel like we did a pretty good job of getting the whole moment.
Yeah, that was perfect. And that, so going back to like what for the ticket part of it, those were like $32 seats that we were standing in. And so we were down there for a little bit. When we go to games and there's not that many people, we tend to just kind of move around and just check different angles out and try to, figure out where we like to sit. And it's just always fun to just kind of move around and see different parts of the arena and stuff like that. So, but yeah, definitely a great way to end the first night of the road trip. I was super pumped, as you could hear me cheering, and then Jose's going nuts. The kids were going nuts. The rest of the fans, the team was all piling on each other. Just a great way to end the night. All right, let's get into the puck score. So this is what I gave them for their puck score, Jose. You ready? So I gave them a 10 for parking, 10 for tickets, 8 for merch, 9 for concessions, and an 8 for atmosphere, rounding off their puck score to 45. So what are your thoughts? I already have a feeling I know what you're going to talk about. What
yeah, I think you already know. Okay, parking tickets, 10, I agree. Merch, I feel like you're too generous with the merch. Their jerseys, sick, t-shirts, that's cool. But the puck thing was just the one thing that pissed me off the most. And I mean, I'm so thankful, don't get me wrong, I'm so thankful. But the fact that you messaged them, they said yes. They're like, okay, we're on the way. We get there. They say they have no pucks, and we're in limbo for like the next 10 minutes. But we get pucks. I'm cool with it, but I would probably rank them like maybe just like 2 points lower. Maybe just for that.
I had the same thought about docking them a little bit more. I actually talked to Mark about it earlier today. I'm like, hey, I'm putting this puck score together, and I told him what happened. He obviously knew a little bit of what happened. I told him the whole story, and he's like, yeah, I give him like a 7. I'm like, yeah. I was like, maybe I'm being a little too nice, but I did feel like they had a really good selection. It was a nice layout. I liked how they had like the 2 levels, and they had pretty much everything that you needed except for the pucks. Yeah. So I thought, I was like, well, hopefully next year they can get the pucks, and then this will be even better score. But yeah, I thought everything else they did really well, and I didn't want to take them down too much for not having the pucks, but everything else they had covered. So
I would say
that's kind of where it ended up.
I would say concessions, it's whatever. I'm not too much of a fan on that. Atmosphere was pretty nice. At first, obviously, it's the start of the game. Everyone's, kind of just going to watch for a minute. But I would say by overtime, everyone was definitely way more pumped and amped. But, I mean, I'd say 8 out of 10 is pretty fair.
Yeah. And then as far as the wow/X factor, there wasn't really anything that, like, blew me completely away. I mean, it was nice that it was in a nice building. Their mascot was pretty good. But I thought, like, overall, like, I didn't think there was anything that's like, whoa, like this, like, they didn't really do anything that I felt like really separated them from a lot of other teams that we've seen, like, within the ECHL. So I was like, I'm like, they're just, I felt like it was a pretty good average experience. I would still highly recommend to go see them. It was still a great time, great area, great team. But I just felt like there was nothing that just like, whoa, like it just nothing. So yeah, so their final score is a 45, which I think is fair for what we experienced for that night. Agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments. All right, so we're just gonna do a little bit of housekeeping things before we let you guys go for the night. So what's left? So if you listened to the video before this, when we did the giveaway for the Puff Puff Passers, we were supposed to actually do the Ferris State Bulldogs one. That was supposed to be this one, but with some schedule conflicts with Caleb, we decided to push that back. And then I talked to Jose, so we are going to work on getting our Iowa trip out of the way, which included this one, and the next one that we're going to do, hopefully within the next week, will be the Dubuque Fighting Saints. So we still have a lot of teams to go. As you see there, there's quite a few among all different kinds of leagues. I mean, there's just a lot to get into. So we're going to try to do Dubuque next, and then from there, we have a few ideas. We're not sure if we're going to go with some stuff that I've done with Cody or Caleb or where we're going to go. But as of right now, the next one that we are planning to do is game 2 of this road trip, when we checked out the Dubuque Fighting Saints, who are part of the USHL. So stay tuned for that one. We will be doing that one next for sure. All right. And if you haven't already, head on over, check us out on Instagram. We got a lot of stuff going on over there. I'm really excited for how it's growing over there. We're trying to put out some more content over there, some more reels. We're getting ready to do another giveaway again. We're already at 456 followers, so less than 50 followers away from doing our next giveaway. We're still waiting on some of the giveaway items from one of our sponsors. We are doing 2 sponsors this time. The one sponsor already sent us some stuff. That stuff came in. I'm going to wait to reveal who our sponsors are once the other group sponsor or the other group's items come in the mail. Even Jose doesn't even know. I haven't told anybody what the sponsors are. Mark tries to get it out of me every time that we talk about it. He's like, who is the sponsors again? I'm like, no, I'm not telling you. Like, you're gonna have to wait like everybody else. So that stuff should be coming in here hopefully within the next week or two. But at this rate, I'm not sure if we'll probably end up doing start the giveaway by the end of the month. That's what I'm hoping to. So if you guys would like, comment, subscribe, go over, hit us up on Instagram, and give us a follow. Link in the description below. Oh, another thing I forgot to talk about. So one thing that we did do, I was actually talking to Jose about this maybe about like a week ago, where we talked about how if you were already previously looking at our Instagram before, you saw that we had all of the game experience that we went to in our highlights tab were broken up by league. So what I did was, it took me a little while to do it, a couple hours to go through all of our story content that we've put up. And now I have categorized all of the story content by team. So if you want to just go and check out what it was like when we went to the Muskegon Voyagers, or the many times that we've been to Flint to see the Firebirds, you can go and check out those individual teams that we have put up stories for on the Instagram. Just scroll through the highlights. And if you scroll far back enough, you will also be able to look at stuff as like league by league. So as you can see here, we've done stuff with the NCAA, OHL, NHL, AHL, USHL, a bunch of different leagues. Excuse me. And you can still go and check everything out by league, and then it's also set up by team now. So you guys can go and check that out. It's a new feature that we just added to the Instagram within the last week. All right. And then if you also get a chance, go over and check out our Linktree link, and you can consume our content, YouTube, Rumble. We also have the arena tour map. So I kind of want to show you guys a little bit of that. So we're going to actually hop on over and show you the arena tour map. So as you can see, it's built here on Google Maps, so you can actually zoom in, check some stuff out. So we went to the Iowa Hartlanders. As you can see here, you can click on the Iowa Hartlanders, and it'll actually take you to the Extreme Arena. It'll give you the address, everything, reviews, everything you need to know, and seeing everywhere that we've been, from the Hartlanders all the way down to the Indy Fuel, and even way out in Montreal. Or even if you want to check, see what we've done out in Alberta, Oil Kings, Oilers, Calgary, whatever. So you guys can go over there, check that out. It's a really cool resource that you guys can use to see what we've done. And if you want another resource that's similar to that, check out. Whoops, I gotta go back to the other screen here. Here we go. And yeah, there you go. So if you click on the other link there, it takes you to sports leagues and maps. You can see all the different teams and leagues in your state, or you can just actually search by league. So if you just click on hockey, or by sport, I should say, you click on that, it'll bring you up, show you the NHL, KHL, all these teams here. And he does a similar map to what we have. This is actually what I used at the very beginning of all this to kind of help educate myself on all the different leagues, because I didn't know about a lot of these leagues when I first started. I knew about the AHL, OHL, and NHL, but I really didn't know much about some of these other leagues. What about you, Jose? Like, after getting into doing this stuff with me and us going to all these games with Puck My Life, like, I feel like your hockey knowledge has gone up quite a bit, and you're starting to learn a lot more about it and realizing that there's a heck of a lot more teams out there than what you initially thought.
Yeah, I knew about the NHL, of course. OHL, here and there, ECHL here and there, but WHL and these other ones, I personally just never knew about it. I mean, I've been into hockey, since I was little, but I kind of, wishy-washed and whatnot, back and forth. But ever since I kind of started talking with you, hanging out with you, and some of the other guys, I mean, I've been learning more about different leagues, different teams, and like the history of them as well.
Yeah, it's a great sport. It has a great, rich history, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. So use this as a source for you guys for next year as you're planning to where you're going to go for hockey. We have a lot of big plans. It's gonna get crazy. Like I said in the other video, we're not going to reveal some of that right now. We are starting to drop some hints over on Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, you need to do that. And then at the end of the month, where are we going, Jose?
The NHL draft in Nashville.
Yep. So you can check out Jose and I will be down at the NHL draft in Nashville. The dates for that are the 28th and 29th of June. That is a Wednesday and a Thursday, which, that'll be interesting. I wonder what it's going to be like down there, because with it being in the middle of the week and people still having to work, I'm not really sure what the crowd's going to be like. I know Jose and I talked about this in the last video. We've never been to a draft before. I've never been to a draft for any league, let alone the NHL. So we're really excited to go down, and then we're really anxious to see what it's actually going to be like. It's in Nashville, and it's a great city. I've been there a couple times. I believe will this be your first time going to Nashville, Jose?
Besides passing through Nashville, yes, this will be my first time actually stepping foot in Nashville.
Spending some time in Nashville. So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff planned. If you guys are going to be in the Nashville area for the draft, drop a comment below, or better yet, hit us up on Instagram. We're planning on having some giveaways for people who meet up with us at the draft. So if you're going to be there, let us know ahead of time so we bring enough stuff. We're going to have, I think we looked at it, what was it, like an 8.5 hour drive after I pick you up, Jose? So it's like 9.5 hours for me. So we're gonna drive down on Tuesday, stay there for the draft Thursday or Wednesday. So we're driving down Tuesday, draft Wednesday, draft Thursday, and we're gonna come back on Friday. So looking to have a great time. Be our first time going to the draft, and super excited to see Connor Bedard get his name called, and also for Adam Fantilli. And I will be rocking my Michigan jersey as I'm down there in support of him and all the great stuff that I've seen him do at home at Yost and on the road. Just a fantastic player all the way around, and he's gonna make an impact. I'm so happy for him, and I'm really anxious to see where he's gonna go. So yeah, that's it for us. But do you have anything else, Jose, that you'd like to chat about before we go and wrap it up for the night?
Honestly, I'm just kind of excited for Nashville. I mean, I'm excited that we're actually able to talk about these game experiences now, get caught up, whatnot. But I definitely am excited for the next while, because we definitely have some stuff cooking. Got some stuff cooking. Can't talk about it, but we got some stuff cooking.
Yeah, and we're not, and to be perfectly honest with you guys, we're not 100% sure when we're going to be able to release some of that stuff with you guys. That's going to be happening. There's still a lot of stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes. And Jose's been helping me out with some of it, and it's just it's hard when we're trying to coordinate with everybody, but we're making it work. So be on the lookout for that. The best place, like I've said before, to get a lot of the new notifications of what we're up to, what we're doing, is head on over to the Instagram, hit it up, link in the bio, and give us a follow. So yeah, that's it for me. Unless you got something else, I think we're ready to go for the night.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your night. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next game experience video that we're going to do, where Jose and I talk about the second night of this, second game in this road trip, where we went and saw the Dubuque Fighting Saints of the USHL take on Team USA. So you guys have a great night, and we'll see you in the next one.